Okay.
Yay! We
That,
did it.
that, that scared me because my other Chromebook that I usually use, I have done something to it that has literally blocked like everybody hearing me,
Oh,
whether I mute or unmute. So for a
hmm.
minute, I was like, oh no, now what
No.
am I going to do? I'm already on the other one. Oh, it's lovely to see you.
Yeah, you too. It's amazing to see. I'm so used to seeing you on my TV, my phone. So it's a real
Right.
honor to connect with you, and you get to see me like I'm real.
Yeah, you're actually moving and talking and stuff.
That's right. Yeah,
You're a person.
real people.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was interested in so like today how I could help you the most in a session. It's an honor to give back. You give so freely, so much of your time and so much love and advice, including to myself. And I wanted to give something back to you. And yeah, how can I best help you in today's session?
Thank you. That's so kind of you. Um, I honestly am going into this totally open-minded. I will say that the reason why I have this heating pad around my neck is because I have another migraine.
Mm,
Um, Migraines are just part of my life, unfortunately, and like four neurologists can't figure me out. It's a nobody can come up with the root cause. They can just throw, pills at me and hope that it helps, and none of them do. They all make me worse.
mm,
So, like there's that. I've seen some of your other sessions and I've seen some cool stuff come up that I would love to see, you know, parts of my past lives that I'm at the point in my life like where I know that I've had them, but I don't have any idea other than I feel like Lemuria, I'm so connected to Lemuria, but I don't have memories or anything. So
mm.
I'm honestly like really open-minded, but those are just like a few things that would be really interesting to see.
Um, yeah, just holding space for your experience of migraines like that's tough. Um I get I would describe them as maybe like 6 or 7 out of 10, like just, enough to stop me and what I'm doing, but not so bad that I'm like with my head on my knees, crying, like the world's gonna stop. About once every month or two. And yeah, and I've had them a lot worse when I was younger. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, let's see when we take a look in your brain and see what's going on energetically as well. See if we can help there. Um, and I think you also mentioned um, your back previously as well. You had some back pain, is that right?
I do. Yeah, I have a slipped disc in my back. I can't remember what numbers it
Mm.
is, but there's a do you know what that means? A slipped disc?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know what it meant until I had it. So yeah, that you can't really heal. Like I've seen x-rays, like there's
Mm,
there's proof of something there, unlike my head.
mm.
Um, However, there is ways to prevent it from getting worse by doing exercises and stuff like
Okay.
that.
And whereabouts
Yeah.
is it? Is it around your mid back?
Low
Low.
back.
Okay. Right.
It's low. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
One quick question. Do like I want to be able to just relax and go with it with this.
Yeah, of course.
I heard that it was recorded. Is that something that you send to people so that they can go back and take notes?
Yeah, so I'll just send it to you privately and you can decide
Okay.
what happens with it. That's right.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about
Yeah,
writing
you don't need
things
to take
down.
any notes or anything else. That's right.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Fantastic. And just to check on time, it is booked for and I have an hour and 30, but we can do it shorter if you wish.
Okay, I'm okay. This was great to bring it at this time. I not that it would go till 3 o'clock, of course. I couldn't do that, and neither could you, but
Yeah.
I'm good for time now. If it goes a bit over an hour, I'm okay with that.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and throughout the session, feel free to share what you're experiencing, to talk, ask questions. Sometimes I forget to ask you what's going on, but I will try my best. And yeah, feel free to talk over me, interrupt, like whatever you feel compelled to do is absolutely fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we shall begin by taking in 3 deep breaths together in through the nose, nice and deep. Hold and breathe out through the mouth, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out what no longer serves our highest good. Once more, breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And release the stress and pain of a lifetime. And continue to breathe deeply and calmly. And from the center of our hearts, see our divine sparks, our golden lights that exist within each of our hearts. And from them, extend a light cord up through the top of our heads, up through the sky and through the stars, going higher and higher through the dimensions and frequencies of this universe, until we reach the highest dimension we can imagine, and there connecting our light cords into the source of love, the source of this universe. And just feel that love and that unity, that oneness, that feeling of home. Remain connected into source and extend our light cords down through the stars, through the sky, back down to the top of our heads and into our hearts once more. And allow from the highest dimension, the source above, a golden waterfall of energy to flow in and around and down our cord, down to the top of our heads, and just allow that energy to flow through us, through every dimension of us, every cell, every atom, clearing, cleansing, healing, and activating every aspect of it. And from the center of our hearts now, we this time extend our light cords down through the roots of our spine, all the way down through the layers of the planet, going deeper and deeper, until we reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there, connecting our light cords into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. And we send Mother Gaia so much love and gratitude at this time. She sends her love back. Remain connected into Gaia's heart and extend our light cords up through the layers of the planet, through the roots of our spine and into our hearts once more. And together, with the light of Source above and Gaia below, we expand out the golden light from within our hearts to surround each of us individually. About 2 meters out from the center of our hearts, we create golden bubbles around each of us. And in our golden bubbles, we set the intention that only energies and entities with our permission, with our highest good and our love and our compassion, can see us, access us, or exist within this space or within us. And that all other energy and entity must leave immediately. And into our golden bubbles, we invite in our guides, our higher selves, our ancestors, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Haniel, Source and Gaia, for guidance, clearing, healing, protection, self-love, and intuition. And through space and time, I create a golden bubble around Jon and Dana. And I set the intention for this golden bubble to only energies and entities with our permission, with our highest good and our love and our compassion, can see us, access us, or exist within this space or within us. And that all other energies and entities must leave immediately. And into this session, we invite in our guides, our higher selves, our ancestors, every dimension of us. We invite in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Source and Gaia. And just allowing now our guides to come into this space. We set the intention for today's session. We are here to assist Dana in her healing, clearing, activation, remembrance, and messages that will help her at this time. And I'd like to ask one of Dana's guides to step forwards to assist with this session. Assist in communication. I was shown immediately as I invited in your spirit team, it was like this whole story, like unfurling. They wanted me to witness just this real beauty about your team, your origins. They showed me that some of the galactic races refer to your guides and your soul origins as the builders of the universe. And your guides showed me, they started with other planets. So they showed other planets where life was forming. And they showed me trees and plants and oceans forming, and like the early signs of life. And just before our session, I was showing you as when you think of a forest like the Amazon rainforest, and think of all of the trees and all of the living things as being part of a hive mind. So they're together in this oneness. They become a collective, and they are individual and yet united. So they're still, unique individual souls like you and I, but they connect together. And this connection that forms in the rainforests and in other forests and other areas, not just in plants, has this it was shown to me as a symbiosis, and it's a symbiosis with an elemental energy of the planet, and that's been part of your journey, and it's been part of your guides as well. So you have had incarnations as being plants and trees, and other how to describe it, elemental water beings, and very much about helping. I keep hearing the word terraform, but it's not, you're not terraforming a planet, you're transforming it from being lifeless to becoming this, like a Garden of Eden for birthing new life. And it's not just Earth that you've done this with. And all I asked was to say hello to them, and I got all this. So that was very kind. Um,
Sorry, what was that you just said? I didn't hear you.
all I asked was to say hello, and I got this like huge, like just
Oh,
download immediately.
okay.
So I'm just asking your guide again to step forwards to talk further. She's stepping forward. She's female, and she started like shape shifting. She was showing like earth and stone and like a tree, and now she's like become. I describe her as a um, like a mermaid, like human form. She's capable of like a humanoid form, but she's like a water spirit, like an elemental water spirit. So you could, it feels like I could hold her, like I could give her a big hug, and that she would have enough density to retain her form even out of the water. But she is made of water. She's just touching my hand, and it feels like someone placing like a was like just placing water on my hand. Just asking her for a name, what she'd like to be called. She's saying of she says she keeps saying call me of water, and I was like, what does that mean? That's like two words. And she said, okay, call me Aqua. Thank you, Aqua. So she has been like she's gesturing me to do an energy scan of you. So we're gonna look at you next. And I was becoming aware as we were setting up. So it was just before we set up the session bubble, became aware of um, this like it's like an attachment you have, and it runs through on the back of your head, and then partially down the spine, and then connects in like where you have a slip disc. So we're going to take a look at this also, see what this is. On the highest dimension of source above, I bring down a column of golden light just above Dana's head, and I set the intention to clear, to heal, to energize, to remove anything that no longer serves in its highest good, to assist her with any messages or past life healings that are needed at this time. And Ek was saying to me, she's saying like she's asking me to be very slow, very methodical, and to pay attention to the water of your human form. Just gently bringing this light down to the top of your head now. What I feel through your body is like resonance waves. They're like if you were to look at water like a cam lake, not quite mirror cam, but just little tiny waves and these ripples. And I feel them coming up through from your feet, and they run all the way up through your body, through every part of you, up to the top of your head. And they're affected by these ripples of the water molecules through your body are affected by sound. And it's the resonance frequency of Earth that you're deeply connected to. you're aware of the frequency of Gaia over there. Coming down into your crown chakra. So Aqua's showing me that when you're working, when you're doing readings for people, or when you're seeking your own guidance and communication with your guides, she's showing me usually what I see is um, our guides like send us these little like packets, like these little envelopes, these letters of light, and they traverse through the dimensions, like through, if our guide is in the sixth or fifth dimension, they'll kind of like a bit like light bending. It'll like jiggle its way down through the dimensions and then eventually squeeze into the third dimension and come into our crown chakras. And each each message that we receive is like wrapped up, like the letters wrapped up in an emotion, in light codes, and whatever we choose to send or receive. And then the message itself is inside. And Akko is showing me that with you, it's like when you're talking to your guides, when you're receiving messages, it's like little, as shown, little like glass bottles, like a message in the bottle being dropped into the ocean. And I was asking, like, is this just like another metaphor for water? Is this like going to be just an all water session? And she's like, no, 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 like just think about how that feels. So we were being shown how the all of the water in your human form has this sensitivity to the frequencies of the planet, and it goes back to your roots as being an elemental, and being able to connect very deeply with the planet. It's like you're a servant to the planet that you incarnate on to assist in the building of life and the terraforming of the planet. And so that deep connection with what the planet wants and where is so important, because you're helping the children of the planet grow. When you're receiving messages, it's like constantly dropping these little bottles, so they're quite hard for you to receive, but you are receiving them. You are receiving messages from your guides. It's just that it like has this fatiguing effect on you, and it could also be related to some of the migraine experiences you're having. Like it's almost like it builds up. It's like over time, like let's say in a day, maybe you're receiving anything from between like 10 and 100 messages, and some are conscious and some are kind of subconscious. Um, that over time has this disruption. That can help. Beck was saying that she'd like me to help, almost like create this. It's like a spout of water, so it's like a connection through your crown chakra that is like a more permanent connection with your guides. And she said she would like to do that with you first. So just connect with one of them, and she will talk on their everyone else's behalf. You have 8 guides, and then over time you can expand these connections if you're happy for me to do that.
With other
Okay?
guides? Is that what that?
So to begin with, I will just help by connecting you with Aqua, just one of your guides.
Okay. Okay.
And over time she'll help you with the connections to the others.
Right. Okay.
Reaching into your crown chakra and just extending this up. She's saying the lowest she can come down to is like the 5th dimension. she prefers to be a bit higher, like 6 and 7. But she said she will, like, when you're struggling, when you sometimes feel like there's nothing there, like, where is everyone? Then she'll come to you, like, just call on her name. And you can just place your hand on your heart, take 3 deep breaths, and say her name out loud and ask her the question, like, be clear with the intention.
Okay.
And so this could be a practice that you do each morning, or if you're doing, if you're working during like a live stream, if you're doing psychic work and readings, or you just feel like you're going into a situation where you're going to be doing something with your intuition, then like make that connection with Aqua, and she'll assist you. And then take a look at the rest of the crown chakra. Yeah, it's quite unusual. There's your crown chakra reminds me of a speaker, and so it's like pulsing in and out. These frequencies, and it's part of your communication with higher realms. It's related to you have this ability to broadcast. I've not seen that before, and so you can broadcast messages out to many beings. And you just set the frequency. And I'm always curious, like, how do you do that in like human terms? So Ak was saying that let's say you want to communicate a message with a group of people. You need to think of those people. So maybe your children, you would say, I want to communicate something with them. So think of them. And when you think of them, just for a moment, just in your heart, just hold that frequency. Like you're intuitively, immediately drawn to the frequency of them. And then when you want to share something, so the message might be, I love you. You can just allow that to flow out and visualize it if you choose to just allow your, like, imagine a speaker at the top of your head and just allowing this sound, this energy wave just to resonate out around you. And it's omnidirectional, so it just goes everywhere around you and resonates out in every direction. It's really beautiful.
That's really neat.
I've never seen that. It's a real superpower, and I feel like you just start by trying it sometimes, and you'll start to learn a lot more about its potential. It feels like it has like a global potential in that it's definitely an old ability that you've had. You've had it as a builder of like forests and oceans, and it's almost like okay, so Ike was saying, when birds sing in the morning, they sing to wake up the plants, and the frequencies that they sing at are attuned to the plant's frequency. So it's to wake up. So this is like how you develop that ability, like wake up life, like you're creating a dawn of a planet, not just a dawn of a day. And just these 2 exercises, like the one of being able to talk to Aqua directly with this now stronger connection you have, and then practicing with your broadcasting of your crown chakra, that'll help a lot. Like a lot of the challenges that you're going through as a human is your soul is you're attempting to integrate like highly evolved and unique soul into a body that human bodies, we're putting them all under a lot of stress as we like bring in all these gifts, but your body is capable of this, and just like the exercises that you're doing to help yourself with your lower back pain, like these kind of psychic exercises, these mental exercises will really help with your integration. Your crown chakra looks good. Coming down to your third eye chakra. I hear you saying, like your higher self is saying to me, but what do I see? Like there's this, it's really interesting. It's like it's mixed with you are seeing, but it's mixed with frustration and you're not sure what it is you're seeing. And I was showing you like underwater in like really dark water and your vision was quite blurry. And you're like, is this just is it always like this?
Yeah, that's interesting because it is a frustration. Like, I can't see when people walk me through things. I'm just trusting that you're seeing and you're doing it for me because
Mhm.
I don't see often. Every once in a while, some shadow or something, but I have a very hard time even imagining like there's a word for that apparently. Synthesis. I don't remember. So
Mhm.
that's interesting that you're picking up on that. I want to be able to see amaze. I want to see aqua. I want to see the ocean. I want to see what you're talking about. And I can't really. It's all just a black blur.
Yeah. And I definitely empathize with that. And I just want to hold space for that. You know, it's a frustration and it can make you feel, you feel like, well, why can other people see and I can't? And why did some people, seem to describe such clear vision and I can't?
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I'm just listening to Aqua. I'm just asking her this question, like, how does Dana see? How is your soul used to seeing? So she's saying like, um, I only found this out a couple of weeks ago, but apparently, and I really don't know the details, but my kids were telling me that modern scientists have figured out that they think some plants can see. And it's like, oh, great, that's great news. Like they could see if you were standing up or sitting down, they could even see the clothes that you're wearing. And that was
Mm.
quite shocking to me. Well, shocking for modern science to be aware of that. Um, and then Aqua showed me, so your sight, what you're used to, um, is, for example, when you've been an elemental like forest, maybe a rainforest is a better way of thinking about it. Like when you're this um, this sentient being that spans across a collective of many life forms, you your sight is through their eyes. It's through your connections to them, like their sensations, and every sensation all at once. So there's this like, um, imagine if you were a planet trying to see, like how does Gaia see? Like she does have a soul and she does have like chakras around the planet physically, but her sight, like she can see all the stars around her all at once. Um, and so what I'm being shown for you is that like right now it is like yeah your third eye's like closed and part of your development is this kind of this challenge of well being able to almost just like your um what was the word I used like an omnicast like almost like an omnipresence like being able to see everything all at once you can transmit sound and energy in multiple directions at once. It sight is similar for you, but sight, you also have all these other dimensions as well to bring in at once. So when um, you were a soul, this goes back several million years ago. Just trying to get a time range. It's on the equator of Earth. It's about 20. Well, your lifespan was very long. From 50 million years ago to 20 million years ago. And during that time, you're like this very mothering, nurturing soul, where you had your really like your arms and your heart around everything in the tropical rainforest there at the time. And although in that time frame, my geology isn't amazing, but I do know that I remember Scotland used to be in the equator around that time frame. Like our land
Mm.
masses have moved a lot in those time frames, but it is still like around the equator that you had this experience, this lifetime for about 30 million years. And the life that lived there at that time, um, you so when something was born, and I'm being shown like a it's like an amphibious being. It reminds me of a Komodo dragon, but like much smaller, almost like maybe
Mm.
like a kind of cat size. And it's been born, and its mother is already connected to you and the collective, like the hive consciousness of the rainforest. And so when this new soul comes into space, you're there, and you're celebrating their birth. You're like what you're saying, welcome, welcome soul. And the great thing is every soul gets their own free will decision to join with you or not.
Mm.
And it's not just the decision that they need to make then, they can do it at any time in their lives. And the vast majority decide to join you. They just feel like a lot of their souls have chosen to be incarnated into that space, to be connected with you, because they want to be nurtured. They want to experience life. Although life had been, in at that time frame, had been on Earth for billions of years previously, um, they want to feel like there's their kind of Earth physical mother, and then also a mother looking after them in their whole area. And really, the rainforest for these beings, these plants and creatures, for every living thing, and there's just like this huge diversity of life. They all are each other's universe. Like they don't get on planes and go other places. Like they are like they pretty much stay in these localized areas in their lifetime. When you connect, there's like this. If you've seen the Avatar movies, it's like a kind of like an energetic version of that. And I see like you could form yourself as a like a high dimensional being. So you could appear as like a fifth or sixth dimensional being, and you were light, and it was a projection of your consciousness into like a humanoid form. But you could choose your form. You could choose to be like this amphibian, and you would then like when they if they chose to commune with you, you would you would just like hold them, like you'd pick them up and like hold them like a baby, and you're connect. Okay, finally, and your connection. I'm a bit slow. I get it now. So your connection would like you bring it up through from the base of your spine. So what happens is your connection as a being connects. So this is I'm talking about the past and present. Um,
Okay.
your connection is deep into Gaia's heart, and she sees you as an elemental builder of planets, of life, and a nurturing of life on planets. And energetically coming up through the ground and up through your root chakra and up into your spine flows this deep connection. And it's a symbiosis, a partnership with you and Gaia, because you're here to help her. Like she is guiding you to your next your next new souls to connect with. She's always steering you in the right direction. And it's not like a she's not like your boss. Like you have free will. And she more asks, she's like, could you now connect with these people? And they could be an area, they could be like a vibration. And so back, what were we, 30 million years ago, or thereabouts, when you were connecting to this amphibian up from deep within Gaia, you bring up this connection and you then connect it up and it come out through the top of your head, like all the way up through your spine, through the top of your head. And then this energy like then connects down into this being that you're holding. And it's like you connect your crown chakra to theirs.
Mm.
And when you do it, like I'm being seen, like for you, it's like a big thing. It's like it's like that very first moment when you hold a newborn baby, you're like, wow, you're just like, it's a being, it's a baby, and you just feel your whole body feels all these different sensations physically and energetically. What going back to the third eye, what's been challenging for you is you learned your soul learned when you were, an elemental soul responsible for a rainforest. You learn how to be selective about what you could experience and what you couldn't at any given moment, because it's so overwhelming. Like if you just turn them all on, if you turn on all your connections with your crown chakra connected to, let me get a sense of scale. It's over 1 million living things. Like it would just be overwhelming, and it would be like this noise. And so you had this ability to like very dynamically like shift. It's almost like like our consciousness works. You would like turn on a torch and you'd shine it around this. So I'm being shown like this big, this big kind of sphere, and this is like a virtual thing you've created in your consciousness. So this giant sphere around you, and then when you shine a light, as you shine a light across the sphere, it's dark. And when you shine a light, you start to see, you start to feel those different beings that are connected in that area. And it's your selection is based on frequency. And so you could feel if there was a dark area, it would almost like it would be drawing you, be like, oh, that area is lower vibration. I wonder what's going on there. And you would turn your focus there, and you start to connect in with your crown chakras to these different beings. And you'd ask them like, what's going on? And they would say, oh, we've got some challenges with disease, or there's an imbalance with like the food chain. And sometimes it was just life struggling. So how does this help Dana at this time? Okay. So you're being asked with your sight, with your crown chakra, sorry, with your third eye chakra, really just to become aware of your ability to see in every sense you have. So your thought, your feeling, your touch, your knowing. And when you want to be specific, when you want to know what something is, or look at it, to practice turning on that light, turn on that flashlight. We call them torches. But yeah, turn on that flashlight. And if you want to see something, so there's something in your room, like maybe it's in your bedroom, and you want to see what's there, like you feel something's there and you want to see it, then just place your hand on your heart and just focus your attention on your third eye. Sometimes some people, I can't really show you on camera, but they put their tip of their tongue just at the roof of their mouth when they do it. It's meant to help open up the pineal gland. But yeah, it's really just the focus, your intention on the focus. And then if you want to see something, you may find it easier to close your eyes, because this is what you used to do. You used to see, when you'd close your eyes, you'd see this big sphere. And I feel like that's what you still see. What you see right now when you close your eyes, this kind of dark nothingness, is actually like a cinema screen, this kind of 360-degree cinema screen that's turned off. And so it's that light and that focus. And you can also just say out loud, just say, I like show me, or ask Aqua to help you, like show me what's there. I want to see. I'm focusing there. And it could be something in the corner of your room, or maybe it's when you're outside. And I'm just going to remove, there's like, I see like this kind of smoky, muddy effect. It's like it's like all the frustration energy that you've had with your third eye is like just filling up this big sphere. So I'm just going to clear that out.
Okay.
Breaking this down, the small golden ball, Archangel Michael, turn to source, or never return here again. Archangel Michael, like he had a name for it, like he was calling it this. It sounded like the smoke of the ancients, like almost like you're used to this effect if it drags on for a long time. So it's a very ancient like build up.
Mm. I like that light language.
It was beautiful. And thank you. The dragon-like language was saying the smoke, like a dragon's smoke is the in between. It's the in between the breathing of fire. And so saying like before like your biggest war is like this kind of exhale of smoke. It's this exhale of negative energy. And so that's what you've been doing for a very, very long time through many lifetimes. And it's like it's all out now. It's all out. And it's now cleared away. Your throat chakra. Your throat chakra seems quite constricted. I think your throat
Definitely.
chakras. Say again.
It feels that way. I've had this feeling of like I'm not sick, but if I were to be sick and had like a swollen throat, that's what it would feel like, but I'm not sick.
Yeah.
And my teeth have been hurting. Apparently that's somebody posted something on TikTok that like don't go to the dentist yet. It's not cavities. There's
Mm-hmm.
stuff 111 portal or something. I don't know. I'm not the only person though that have had sore teeth in the last like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've also felt like it almost hurts, like it's swollen.
Yeah. And your throat chakra is used to being bigger, um, but not that much bigger in this lifetime. Um, so your throat chakra is this huge part of your broadcasting capability, and so it's like this connection. If we forget the human for a moment, your throat chakra is the voice of your truth and what you want to say when you communicate with many beings at once, or when you focus your attention with connecting with guides, or when you know you're like mothering the group, the planet, the beings that you want to nurture. And so that requires quite a lot of it's like quite a broad frequency range. And so your throat chakra is used to being a bit larger. I'm just going to ask your throat chakra to return to its natural size and shape, and to remove anything that doesn't serve your highest good. So there's this, I mentioned it earlier, there's this entity connected to its very tail. I'm seeing its tail is like really thin and it pokes up through your throat chakra. And then it comes down just in front of your other chakras and then goes through to the back of you. It comes up your spine. And it's like sat like over, I don't know if you can see my hand,
Mm.
over the top of the back of your head. And when I asked earlier, like what this is, I was being shown that this entity has been assisting you with your integration into this plant, into this human form. Um, but it no longer serves your highest good. Like it's how to describe it. Um, this entity is a negative entity now. Um, but you invited it in um, quite early on. Your soul had already agreed before you were born, and it was I'm seeing like in your teens that it started, like late teens, that it started to fully grow, and it's almost like a second being to assist you with the what's it doing exactly, or what was it doing? It's to assist the integration of your elemental soul and your gifts. Okay, your gifts. Okay. I'm just asking Echo if it's safe for us to remove it. And she's just saying, absolutely, be my guest. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna just call forwards my light sword and shrink it down to the size of a small knife. And I'm setting the intention not to harm Dana in any way, and only to remove this entity that's attached to her, anything that no longer serves her highest good. Just going to gradually work my way across to it back. It's just peeling off. I'm just working around the back of you now, spine, neck, and out to any connections around the back of the rib cage. It's very gently now. Get lower down the spine, and it connects through your your slip disc. And just stopping there for a moment, and I'm just going to pull it down out where it's connected up to the chakra. Long. It's almost like a really long worm with these little tentacles like that connect out to the sides as anchors. And Archangel Michael's already holding half of it for me because it's large to hold. And without being disrespectful to it, it doesn't have like, it's not super sentient. It is um, sentient, but it's just saying like a couple of words. It's saying to assist and feed, to assist and feed. Like that's its purpose. Archangel Michael, please return this to source or never return here again. It had become quite bloated, a bit like a leech is like kind of on your head and on the back of you, and it's swollen, and it become like just really lazy. Like it wasn't really trying to interfere with what you're doing. It's not trying to like influence you. It's just like any extra energy that it would take from you, it would. Its role was more helpful to you when you were younger.
Mm. Hmm.
You know, where it's connected to any wounding, anything that needs healing. That's good, considering how deeply it was attacked. I'm just going to bring some healing into the approach. Closing any wounds and allowing your throat chakra to return to its natural side. And then to the heart chakra. For your heart chakra, like your higher self is saying that you have been planets before. You have this like the heart of a planet.
Mm.
Gaia knows you, like she's seen you in her night sky. She was saying that you were a planet and the Pleiades constellation. That planet doesn't exist anymore. But she asked you, like she asked, you had, it's like she'd watched you over, these are billions of years where you've like been the soul of a planet, and then you've also helped terraform and nurture life on a planet. And it's like you're this angel working between different planets. And she was like, me next. Like, come here and help us. We need loads of help. And so that's a practice you could consider doing in meditation. Is just, I don't know about you, but I find it very exciting and yet mentally quite challenging to get my mental models around being, like me having the capacity, my soul having the capacity to be a planet. And I feel like if you're able to experience that a little bit in your meditations, it will really help you see how it's both possible and then what it feels like a bit. Like what was it like when you were a planet?
Did you say I was a planet on the Pleiades?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Solar plexus. Your higher self said, but I've never been a star. I don't want to be a star. Why? Why don't you want to be a star? Oh, of course. Because not many things live on stars. Now I get it.
Mm, fear.
So yeah, you want to like hold the babies, the newborn babies of the planet, whatever species they are, and to help them and to care for your children. Yeah, your soul was good. And your sacral chakra. I when I focus on your sacral chakra, I hear like a very, very long list of swear words. It's like you're storing, like you're keeping them all there. Um,
Mm. Hmm.
and yeah, I'd encourage you to like let those out. It's quite an unusual place to keep them, but I guess it can make sense, right? Because um, there's they're words, but then they have like every single word is, it's like your swear jar. You put them in that jar, but every single word is like wrapped up in the emotion that generated it. And
Mm.
there's yeah, I feel like there's a few different ways you can release this. Uh, I think they're all pretty good fun. Like one is in a meditation, like focus on like imagine a jar like in your sacral chakra, like take it out, put it in front of you, and then open it up and read it out loud, and
Mm.
try and remember like when you're like try and feel into the emotion of why were you swearing about something then.
Mm.
um some of it is related to like your truth, but it's more than that. It's like you wanted to get someone to really feel something. Like you could tell them something, but that wasn't enough at that time. You wanted them to feel it, and it's not all negative, right? There's some hot fire and passion in some of this as well, and it's like if only I could have, you know, made you feel that emotion that I felt. The word wasn't enough. I tried swearing, that still didn't add enough color. Um, so yeah, like pulling those little letters out, those out of your swear jar.
Are they attached to like certain experiences and memories with people in this lifetime, and then
Yeah,
I'm storing it?
that's right. Yeah, I see some friends, and some old friends, and also lovers and ex partners as well. They're, they're
Hmm.
probably connected. Um, And you could also just choose to do this, like, I see you like doing this almost like interpretive dance. Like you're standing in front of the mirror and you're like, and you're saying, okay, here's the next one. And you like, just pull it out. And it's like interpretive and like freestyle in that there's no structure or form. You don't need to be, the advantages of kind of dancing your way through it is you can verbalize it, move how it feels, and just allow it to come out.
Hmm.
And it's not harming you. Like storing that those emotions and those swear words there are it's okay, but it will help you release, um and it'll help you connect with those little, like every single one has a little lesson. There's a reason you put it there, and it's like you've given a gift to yourself. It's like, I want to then go back and experience that
Hmm.
again, to just allow that to come through, and just be like, just surrender yourself to the just to be open to the sensations. That could be anything. There could be, um, some might be, complete like nothing. You like, I swore in a void of nothingness. This is how it felt. And then others are like just like filled with like this kind of sexual passion, and you're just like, how how can I say this? Maybe I can say it. Maybe I can just like allow that energy to flow out, and I can move my body a bit, and that's like the closest I can get to expressing it. So I feel like there's a whole spectrum.
Okay.
And then looking down to the root chakra, Gaia and Aqua are asking you to strengthen your connections, your root connection into Gaia. And I'm asking, is that like a tree? And they're saying, well, kind of. Like, imagine a tree that's made of water. Like your roots have this very deep connection to the ground, and so it's true that trees, their roots go into the water supplies underground. Um,
Hmm.
and it's similar for you, but your 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 roots move. You like to move around, and when you connect into ground, you connect into the energetic grid of the planet.
I don't know
You
how to
don't.
do. Sorry, I was just gonna say I don't know how to do that when it's not summer and I can't go outside and sit
Mm,
on the grass or on a tree. I'm very
yeah.
stuck in winter because, like I said, I can't see my root going down or going. I can't do that. Is there a
Mm,
way that I can start working on that?
yeah. So let me ask. Okay, so I'm being shown like, um, first of all, your physical sensation is really, really helpful. So you sitting on the ground, in on the floor in your home, is very helpful. And
Mm.
sitting, if you're comfortable sitting like in the lotus position with your legs, like as much contact as you can get to the floor. I don't know. Do you have like some hard surfaces, floor surfaces that aren't too cold to sit on?
Like without carpet?
Yeah.
My house is almost all carpeted except for the
Could
basement and it's cement, but that would be cold.
Yeah, that sounds uncomfortable. That's fine. So yeah, you can still do this on carpet. But yeah, just try and maximize like your connection, your physical connection with the floor, and then also have your hands down on the ground when um, when you connect. So when you start your meditation, and I remember you saying before, like, long meditations can be hard for you. And maybe this is just like, see it like in an initiation, like focus it on like a physical practice. So you sit in a lotus position, you put your hands on the ground, and you say out loud. So you're feeling with your body, you're feeling that, hey, I'm in my house on my floor. Great. um, and then you just say out loud, just say, I connect my roots down into the core of Mother Earth. And you don't really need to see it. Like you don't need to be, aware of this like we did when we started, like to see a chord flowing down. Like you saying out loud and setting your intention is more than enough. That is what you need to do to connect into Gaia's heart. Um,
Okay.
and telling yourself like this story, which is really what I do when we set up the session. That's really what I do is like I run through that story in my head. And the visualization for me, even though I've done hundreds of these sessions, it comes in and out of my awareness. And the visualization is quite different each time. Like with you, I was much more aware of what you were doing. Like you were lagging just behind me. And I was like, wow, I can see Dana's like, you've got this. Like you're totally there. And
Mm,
and I love that. And sometimes people are, totally not there. They're just like not interested at all. And they might even be eating when I open my eyes. They're like, huh, John, you're still talking, are you?
oh,
Like
geez.
you're very much there. Um, and there's also your sense of smell, your breathing. Like start with the physical sensations that your human form feels, and what
Mm,
you would like if the universe was, like a voice activated computer like Alexa or Siri or whatever, like you would say these things out loud. You would just say, connect, hey Siri, like connect into Gaia, like connect into Gaia. Like it just happens. And that's really your intention that creates those connections.
okay.
But yeah, you have this deep connection with the grid of the energetic grid of the planet. And
Mm,
you can also ask out loud, you can just say, please share with me, Gaia, share with me the energy of the grid in my area today. Like what's the latest news? Like what's going on? And it's okay for her not to say much because you're living in that energy all the time. Like it's in and around your home. So it's those subtle variations that you may pick up on and sometimes you don't. But I tend to find that if you just bring your awareness to the fact that there is a big energetic grid, this internet of energy that flows around under the ground and over the top of the ground of the planet, it'll really help you. It'll help you reactivate so much of your gifts in this lifetime. And do you have any questions before we talk about that?
yeah. You've talked a lot about elementals, and in this past um, maybe year, I've really like I didn't really know what fairies and stuff meant before now. And
Yeah,
I'm seeing all kinds of insect forms that I'm sure that that is not just a bug.
yeah,
I feel like they're fairies.
mm,
Is that real? Am I really seeing things? Like I'm so connected to nature. It's so interesting that you're
yeah,
saying what you are. Like I was just out at um, I just went on a drive to find some horses. Like horses are just, oh my gosh. And I could smell the one horse. His face came close to me and I could smell him.
yeah.
And I swear during our session, I can taste that smell, even though I didn't make out with the
Wow.
horse.
Yeah,
Like when I swallow, I'm like, okay, whoa, are you tasting or are you smelling through your mouth? It's really hard
Yeah,
to explain, but
yeah,
yeah, that was one of my questions. Like, am I really tapping into this with my eyes in the insect world and plants and trees, faces in trees and
yeah. Um, First of all, your questions are so exciting. And they're
yeah,
so magical. Um,
thank
you like yes, 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 yes. Like you're um so if I go back to like your first questions, like those the Fae are they're like the smaller, often smaller, but very deeply connected relations of elementals. And they're like little cousins running around the place. And they are also like your helpers. So as an elemental soul, you've been used to having people work with you, entities, and the Fae are great to work with because they are. I mean, they're a bit mischievous and they play a lot, and it's like another like literally, and in a rainforest, it's like having thousands more kids to look after, and sometimes even fight with each other. But for the vast majority of the time, you can send them to a place to help you. And so when they're coming to see you in this lifetime, they're asking like, what do you want us to do? Like, where should we be going next? Perhaps you would like them to go and check on your horses, or go and check to see are your kids okay playing outside, or what's that storm that's brewing looking like? Like give them tasks to do, and I'm just going to ask, see if Aqua knows like how do they communicate back? So they come back and they give you like these little whispers, like um Aqua's saying like sometimes it's a whisper in your ear and sometimes it's a whisper in your heart. It's quite playful, and you don't really expect it, and you'll probably have forgotten that you asked them to do something, but
you.
you'll get this back. You get like a little sign, like you'll see one of them again, or you'll sense it, or you'll remember. Oh yeah, I'm sure I saw something earlier, and I told it to go off and look at my horse, and just by being aware of them again, know that they're trying to communicate again. And so just pause for a moment, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and just say, yeah, please give me the message. Let me try and get more specific on that. So just be really intentional, because they are quite mischievous. And so when you tell them to do something, tell them who and where you want them to look and why. And so when they come back, you can say, what is the answer to the question that I gave you? And that way you're not just opening yourself up to the universe, you're being as specific as you can. If you want to give it a name, like Faye, like so you could say, Faye, I sent you to the horse. How is my horse? Then that connection between the two of you is just between you two. You know you're not going to get interference from any other being. It's just really dangerous to say, what are the answers to my questions? Like there's a lot of beings in this universe that would love to give you terrible answers.
Mm.
Um, you asked about, like, as you're describing the connection with uh, your horse, it was like I was just being shown the horse just spending all that time grounded with 4 feet on Gaia all day, has this like really beautiful high vibration energy, and is like pulling this energy up from the earth, and filling itself with this energy. And when it talks to you, it's like it knows you from other lifetimes, and it's trying to replicate some of those interactions that you had before. So um, if you're if you're connecting with something in the Amazon rainforest, you would like you'd ask them for like this big news update, like energetically, you would say like, "Tell me everything," what's new, and it's a lot. It's like what they've been eating, where they've been going, are they happy or sad, like how are their relationships with what's going on in their lives, and you get it in this kind of like this quite a big kind of lump of data of energy, and that taste that you had, that you're smelling, that taste is like it's like the connection between you forming. Um, and I just feel like that excitement between the two of you as well. Like it's exciting for you to practice this together. Um, and you can say all this out loud, right? Say, do you when you next see a horse or um, or any animal that you want to connect with or any being, just say out loud, like, I would like to connect with you. Like, what's your news? Tell me what's going on. And
Even
then just
squirrels, even
yeah, yeah,
squirrels.
yeah, squirrels, yeah.
A squirrel that comes to my deck and I hand feed it peanuts. There's people that think
Uh,
I'm crazy. It's going to come in the house and poo everywhere and chew the cords. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not
yeah.
afraid of it at all. I love it so much. I know it's the one. I can tell
Mhm.
by the color and everything.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I
Start
talked
so
quite there's quite a few squirrels just before our session. I was out walking in the forest nearby, and the squirrel kept running in front of us in and out, like and really slow, like really like purposefully. It's like I'm a squirrel, even though we have a dog that's just ignoring the squirrel completely. Um, and yeah, with the squirrel, you can do the same. Like I feel like the squirrel, you can also give it some work, some jobs to do. So go and tell me what's happening next door, or uh, go and find out in this area what's happening, like how the tree's doing or how the bird's doing. It really wants to help.
okay.
Was there another question that you asked in that? Have I covered all?
I don't think so. I guess one more question would be to ask Aqua if there's like I have a lot of crystals in my house. I do have aqua aura quartz. I do have a piece, but I wondered if there was a certain stone that I could connect to her by holding that maybe I might already have or could purchase.
Yeah. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Do you have any Andara? It's
What is
blue.
that?
It's Andara.
No, I have a piece of um I feel like obsidian or something like that that looks just
Mm,
like that, but it's not blue. It's
yeah.
black, but it looks very much like that.
Um, and I think this is formed from, it's like a kind of glass, and you get loads of fakes as a result. But it's formed from very high temperature volcanic activity. And she was showing me, so Akka was showing me that it's like there's not um, there's not an exclusive crystal for you to like best communicate with her, but what she's guiding you towards is like any crystal where you see this like transformation of um you can feel like water becoming solid, like becoming like to a human touch it feels solid, but at the same time it has this like water energy to it, which is really funny for a crystal to think of the water properties of it. um, and water exists in so many things, right, that we just tend to ignore. It's almost in like every single stone or everything that we have.
Hmm.
Um,
Maybe the Caribbean calcite.
it's lovely.
Yeah. So it seems like everything goes back to water. Water, 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 water.
Yeah, it's
When I first saw the ocean in
mhm.
Cuba, I cried like a baby and had
Oh
no
wow.
idea. Yeah, my ex-husband was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I love the ocean. I don't have the ocean here,
Mm,
but like water is so healing for me. But there was something different about the ocean. And when I watched Avatar, I have seen both.
yeah,
Um, Especially number two, I cried through most of it as
it's
well.
incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it really curious because we didn't really talk about the oceans or the sea, and Aqua wanted us to see you're being drawn to see the water and everything, not not just, you know, as humans we tend to think of rivers and lakes and seas and oceans. You have had past lives for sure on Lumeria, as have I. I've also been an elemental spirit in the past and been an earth elemental. But when you see the water in everything, you realize that especially in the human body, like we're like these oceans ourselves. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the universe that exists within us, all the way down to the size of an atom, is almost exactly the same size as the universe outside of us. And so this ocean of us, and what is it? Is it 80% water or something?
Yeah.
Like we're so full of water, and yet we tend to forget, and we tend to think of ourselves as more solid beings. Um, and so right back at the beginning, we were being shown these like resonant waves flowing through you. Like the what is really beautiful about your gifts is that you have this incredible ability to allow resonance waves to flow through you and then to broadcast out through. And it's the water in you that acts like the almost like intelligent, smart water, each molecule kind of bouncing off each other intelligently to allow this like generation and amplification of energy. And whatever energy you choose, like if you're creating a message or you're wanting to send a feeling around the earth. Um, so yeah, yes, you have deep connections with water, but there's so much more to you as well. And a lot of your superpowers and your ability to connect, to broadcast are like have their foundations in water. But a lot of it's the reflection of Gaia as well. And Aqua's just saying, don't feel frustrated that you're not next to the ocean right now. Like she's just saying, it's okay to know that you are water and that below the ground, perhaps you'd like to watch some, I don't know, some YouTube videos on like what underground rivers and lakes like exist to help with some of those visuals and some of the knowledge about what. I mean, I feel I feel drawn to now as well. There's so much that flows underneath our feet, and yet even like you're being encouraged, like when you decide to set the intention to connect with groups of people to allow them to experience broadcasted emotions, feeling, vibrations, messages. Many of us humans are in cities and we're in like these very dry concrete jungles, and but we're still these water beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so when when you're doing your work, a lot of the people you're connecting with are in surroundings with even less of that ocean around them, and yet you're able to help them connect into the planet. It doesn't really matter if they're on like the 40th floor of a tower block. They're still part of the planet. They're still one of Gaia's children. They're still in this whole global change with us, and their physical separation from the planet doesn't change any of the fundamental aspects of like why they've chosen to be here, whether they're choosing to wake up and start to hear some of these messages that you'll share with others. Um, and so yeah, like there's many of us that are even less connected than we are physically, but to know that any of us at any height and any location the planet can be reached and can be helped and communicated with.
Mm, that's beautiful.
Really beautiful.
Is
And
there
I feel
any?
like go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask if Aqua has any numbers that she um puts into my, like, realm that I see that I know might be her.
She she showed me 777, then 555, and then she said, "Oh, and actually, there's ranges of sequences. Like, pay attention to the sequences. Like, they mean like there's sequences that mean something to you." Um, I was looking at some YouTube videos I'd recently created with someone I'm mentoring, and so she was showing me these again, like the length of the video was 1 hour, 23 minutes and 45 seconds, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
Mm,
then others were a bit more jumbled up. They're like one oh there was 4, 4, and then 5 and 4 and 5, 5. And the what's interesting about the sequence is think of the numbers around them. It's like you're being shown, like, so for 5, 5, 5, if you see that, you're like, oh, I think that's like some big change, maybe, I don't know. And maybe that's my higher self. If you're shown 4, 5, 5 or 5, 5, 4, you're like, oh, is this like just before? Like, am I being shown I'm just before this next stage? Um, yeah, I was saying, like, there's fun in this game of trying to interpret what the numbers are, and for you to practice being aware of everything that's going on around you. So take a snapshot when it happens, when you see a number, take a snapshot of everything around you. So you say, what was I thinking of? What was I eating? Where was I standing? How did I feel? And then when you see it, just allow that first interpretation to come through. Hold it for a moment. Like, don't judge it, just hold it, feel it, and then say it loud, thank you very much. Say, thank you for showing me that number. Like, I saw it. Thank you. I see you. And allow it to, like, sit in your heart. Um,
okay.
have you been seeing? I'm intrigued. Have you seen any numbers?
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, and I do say thank you. I already do. Most of the
Yay.
time. Yeah. Yeah, and I have noticed, like, I totally noticed the 5s, the 7s, the 1s.
Mm,
However, I also am noticing, like what you just said, like 5, 5, 4, and it's like, "Oh, well, that's close." But then I start becoming like, then I start thinking, "Are you becoming obsessed? Are
yeah,
you just mad that that's not 5, 5, 5, and now you're becoming obsessed with it?" So it's
yeah,
kinda cool that you're, between you and Aqua,
yeah,
you're confirming that, "Nope, that's actually something. You're not just going crazy."
yeah, absolutely. And there's this whole universe, like, that's kind of being shown to us finally, like that veil that's being torn away allows us to see so much more. And don't worry, there's a million rabbit holes that we will disappear down. And be like the squirrel. Be like, it's okay to be distracted. You'll find yourself 1 minute investigating numbers, and then the next thing, like, talking to the squirrel, saying, oh, by the way, you go and do this, go and check on the horse for me. And you'd be like, I wonder if it comes back, like, I wonder what they'll say. How will I
I'm
know
okay
what they say?
I'm okay with that. I talk to myself all day anyways.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
Brilliant.
awesome.
Any other
Mhm.
questions?
Um, did you see what Aqua looked like? I think you might have already described it. Maybe I'll rewatch it, and I think maybe you did.
Yeah, I got, like, a very um like a high level picture. Let me just ask a bit more detail. Her immediate reaction is, well, what do you want me to look like? Like, she's playing with it. She's like, I'm water, I can be like. So she immediately showed her face looking really beautiful. And then I was, like, questioning, is like, do you always look like that? Like, what's your form? And there's a real playfulness there. Like, I feel, so it's really common for guides to or beings to help us connecting with them by taking on a form, often humanoid form. It's much easier with something that's so to answer the question, I see her as blue skinned, as water, like it's really clear blue water. Um, and she has this like quite long hair, just about down to her shoulders. She has a very like small, quite sharp nose. It's really attractive. And her eyes are quite big when they're opened, but she can also like close them down quite small, almost like her eyes just slightly shapeshift when she closes them, like they become smaller. And it's because when she's in deep water, like she can open them right up and receive loads of light.
Mm.
And her body, she's showing her body like we often see mermaids, but not almost like we'd see art of a mermaid, where her body is like straight down, so it's like humanoid to the waist, and then it becomes this like fish tail, and then the fish, so it's like straight down body, and then the fish tail out to the side, almost like it would be impossible to stand like that because you just kind of fall over to one side.
Mm.
She can also she's happy to be just explaining this is what I also used to do in Lemuria. In Lemuria, um, I've been like a male mermaid, a merman,
Mm-hmm.
or we'd call ourselves like merfolk, and we'd have these legs that would form when so we could come onto land and walk. Not we couldn't really run, but we could we would shift the shape of our tails, and it's almost like it's hard to describe. It's almost like the two legs in their natural position would be kind of closed up together like this, and it would look very much just like a single tail. But when we came onto land, we could open them up and step apart. But
Mm.
there was actual shape shifting, like we would change that was more like our bone structure, and then our flesh we could just morph around it. Um, and we didn't really have toes per se, but we did have feet. We'd have feet and like ankles.
Hmm. Is
Yeah,
this why? Oh, sorry. You can go ahead.
I was going to say she's really beautiful. Like it's like her energy, and it's really funny because I was like, that was my immediate reaction as well. I was like, I want to see you. Like you're really fascinating to see as a being. And she's like, well, I'm my energy. So I'm like a bit like fire on me here. Like see when you see her energy and you just feel it. It's just a feeling that you know she's there. Um, the presence, if you were to physically see her, that's what she wants you to see first, is her energy, like her soul DNA, the soul of her in the center of this being. And then you become, if she was in the room with you right now and your third eye was like totally open, then eventually you'd start to see some more features, but they're not as
Mm.
important to her. Like, because she's just water, like you can see an ocean, like why do you need to see the water droplets?
Right. Right. That's interesting. I was just going to ask if this is why I can't eat fish. I can't eat fish or seafood. I have tried because it's healthy for you, apparently. Um, and I've never liked it, nor can I can't even eat tuna fish anymore. And I kind of, as I learn about my connection with Lemuria and hear you speaking of, one of my biggest guides, it sounds like, is this water mermaid. There's so many connections, and then the love for the ocean. Then
Yeah,
there's the whales that have my heart. It's like, no wonder I can't eat you. Is
yeah,
that common, or do some people have
yeah.
these connections and they still love to eat everything in the ocean?
I, as you're describing it, she just said, you don't want to eat your children.
That's how I feel.
That's how you feel, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
of course, that's fine. It's your choice and a totally understandable choice.
I take an omega-3
Yeah.
multivitamin because it is healthy for you what's in it, but I can't eat it.
Yeah. Because it's not the physical matter, right? It's the life force, the energy of what that being went through when they died, when they were caught, or when they were killed for food. And
Mhm.
I just wish this was a message we could tell the planet, right? Like when you consume, like I know this now, but for most of my life, I didn't know that, if you kill a being and it's in trauma, all of that energy goes into its physical matter, and then you consume it. You consume the physical body and its energy, and then you've got this in your body. And so, for you to eat seafood is literally like killing something you dearly love. The trauma of that going into the being, and then you like physically having that inside of you. And
Mm.
yeah, it's no wonder that it's a good thing that you're sensitive to that.
Hmm. I feel very similar to meat. However, I like the taste of it at least. Like seafood, like the smell of it in the store even makes me want to throw up.
Yeah.
I'm not eating pork anymore after having a visit with a pig.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I'm very weird with like cooking meat and stuff as well. But that could be like another whole time. Maybe
That's
another
right.
time we could talk about that because yeah, I know that we're really going over time. So I want to be conscious of that and not take advantage of your time.
That's okay. Yeah, and I would just say with meat, like with anything you consume, it's all your free will, and there's no right or wrong. And even the judgment of me saying that I feel I know my truth is that um, the trauma is stored within the things that we eat. Unfortunately, it also applies to plants. And it's like
Mm,
it's almost like there's no escape. Like, but we all make the choices. We all decide where we we buy things and consume them from. And it just helps to be just like you are with seafood, to be conscious of the decision. The worst decisions made are the ones, unconsciously. And when you're consciously making a decision, like fine well, like one of my vices is chocolate or other sweets and stuff, and it's like I know that my body really struggles with it, but I love it, and I would eat so much of it if I could, but I just know that it's a conscious choice when I do, um, and and yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. I feel like the somewhere in the ideal world, we wouldn't consume food in this manner at all, and we consume light. But it's going to be a while until we're light only.
mm. Yeah, that would be nice. Rainbow light.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I better
Oh,
bring the session to an end. Um, and I would like to thank our guides, our higher selves, our angels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Haniel. I'd like to thank every soul that's participated in this session and all the souls we also mentioned, including the animals and the
mhm.
fae. And I just invite now Dana and I to step out of, we can remain in our individual bubbles, but to step out of the session bubble now. And I'm just going to shrink it down, small golden ball. Angel Michael, please return this to source. And I'm asking my guides, higher self, to step back from Dana and her energy. And to leave Dana's protection in place for as long as she chooses it to be there. And for her to continue to talk with Aqua and her guides, to set the intention for a smooth integration of today's healing and messages, and for Dana to get plenty of water and to get plenty of rest, as much as you need coming days. And to know that you then can reach out to me at any time in any dimension, and also through TikTok Messenger or email or whatever else you decide to reach out. And I'd like you to, I'll check in with you over the next 3 days, see what you're doing. And if you have any questions and experiences you want to share, please connect with me.
Namaste.
Stay. That was a really beautiful, Dana. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was. You're so good at that. What a gift. I hope the same for you. I hope that you rest, and I can imagine that that's a lot for you to see all that and feel it, and I don't really quite know what that feels like, or maybe I do, but I'm not conscious of that yet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
If
I
I
wish you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
If I do too much, I tend to get a bit. I feel quite dizzy and ungrounded. So I always like ground. I have my socks off just now. I go outside and I stand in the grass. It'll be dark. The stars will be out, and I'll ground anything from me in the wet, icy grass, which I just love. Um, and I have a friend is doing an energy exchange with me after this. So in just a few minutes, I'll be receiving a Reiki session. So it's like,
Oh, good. Wonderful. It all just comes around, doesn't it?
that's right.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, you enjoy that, John. I actually have
Yeah.
some grass that is very cold, but not with snow. I'm going to go outside and put my hands in it.
Oh,
I
lovely. That's beautiful.
might put my feet in it. We'll see. But cold hurts me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to go ground with that grass before my kids come home. So have a
Thank
wonderful Reiki session. And
you.
I hope to see you soon and alive.
Yeah,
And I
will
will
do.
absolutely let you know of any dreams, or as I know that you care and you're interested. So I will
Yeah,
share with,
excellent.
yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so
All
much.
right,
Take care.
you too.
Thank you. Standing
Bye
well.
now.
Bye.
Bye.